Stephanie, it's great to see you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Rebecca. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm good. The sun is vaguely coming out, so I'm hoping that I might actually get out in the garden this afternoon, which would be nice for June. A
Yeah,
change.
that's true. In the morning, you feel here a little bit more like fall, honestly. But we're hoping for summer in Germany too. So we'll see.
I think it's a common problem. Anyway, we're going to talk about Germany today, obviously. And I mean, how is it? What's the current overall economic position for you in Germany? What's it looking like at the moment?
Okay, I mean, the growth rates are not what we expect, obviously, and we face everything that is that you probably guess as well. The high energy costs. We have still high labor costs in comparison. The infrastructure problems are no secret either, I suppose, especially with the trains and so on. And yeah, interest rates could be much more interesting for the entrepreneurs as well. So this is just exactly what we're facing. Digitalization is also an issue. But on the other hand, we just had a big conference of female entrepreneurs, and we had people from Google and Microsoft there, and the issue was innovation. And there I heard, for example, that according to the Bloomberg Innovation Index, I think we're still one of the technology, how would you say that?
Leaders.
Einhorn.
Yeah.
I think we're better than we think.
Yeah.
But the situation has been easier, definitely. And I mean, I didn't even touch the overall global, the Israel-Gaza issue and the Ukrainian war. Where
We'll
we
come
had
back
this
to
big,
those.
we just had this big conference here for 2 days, so every road was closed, and
Yeah. No, well, we'll come
we're in the
back to
middle of
those
it.
issues as well, because I mean, there's so much affecting Germany at the moment. So let's talk about inflation. What's inflation like at the moment?
It's getting better, definitely. I think right now we're up to 2 or 3%, which is just fine. So, but we were at 10, as you probably know, last fall, and so that called for at least the two last different salary rounds. People and all the official negotiations between the partners is the same. With the in the work field. So high raise of salaries, which pays in of what I said, high labor costs here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of the industries, what's performing well and what isn't?
What is performing well? I mean, it's still, I think, the industries of automation and construction. This is where we used to be really one of the better ones, and this is still performing where we have really struggles, and what pays or what we see also in. Kind of like what we will touch later in the restructuring and insolvency business is definitely the sectors of suppliers for automotive and automotive in general, as you might know, and then the same counts for hospitals and care. That's definitely one. Those sectors are struggling. Yeah. So
Yeah. Very.
engineering is still where we are in the game, I would say, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's all very similar to other places, isn't it? That's what always surprises me is how much is so global now. But I mean, you've got the war in Ukraine going on, we've got problems in Israel. So how are those things that are really sort of global problems at the moment, how are they affecting Germany and more particularly its businesses? What's the impact for them?
Well, definitely, we do have the issues of high energy costs due to the Ukrainian war and everything that was impacting our relationship with Russia, obviously, as everybody knows who's reading the papers. But I think we kind of like we managed to come around, but pays in high energy costs, so that's how that is, and I think we have big discussion about workforce and how do people from Israel or of the Jewish religion feel about working here, being here in Germany. You think
Yeah.
I know what I'm trying to imply, so that is not starting really to affect, I think, the business here, but the overall situation, as far as security goes and everything that we think we will have to spend on, trying to defend ourselves. So there's a shift definitely in. We'd rather see, or we also need for as I said, the funds for the infrastructure and for education. So yeah, so that's how it is affecting the business
Yeah.
here, I'd
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
So are those factors that are making people really think internally in Germany also affecting the way that businesses are directing their investment abroad and where they're doing business abroad? Are there shifts? Because I mean, over COVID, people moved much of their sort of suppliers and things back to the UK for us here. I presume they did the same in Germany, or they moved to Vietnam or other places as costs changed and supply changed. Have you seen those sort of things happening, and where are German businesses investing and going?
Yeah, definitely we're trying to get the supply chains, more within Europe. We see that effect, and maybe moving from China to India, for example, somewhere where we have still low labor costs, but fairly safe political surroundings and environments. Yeah, that's what I would, what comes to my mind when you ask that question at first hand, so to speak. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously you work within the turnaround, restructuring and insolvency space. How do you feel all these quite overwhelming factors? I mean, there's a lot going on there, but how are they knocking on into turnaround, restructuring and insolvency?
Yeah, we did expect even more than a wave, more like a tsunami after COVID, because as you might know, we had all these regulations where you did not have to apply for insolvency proceedings, even though your business, was lacking money and so on. And we thought, okay, after that has been lifted, then again we'll have these companies whose business models are just not working, will have to file for insolvency proceedings. But we didn't see as many as we expect, and still, I mean, there are a lot more than obviously before, even before COVID. So there is a change and there is a development. And that's mainly, it's a lot of trade, like with Karstadt, Kaufhof, for example. And as I said, I think in the last 6 months, we had 4 different, how would you say that, care institutions or
Yes, yeah,
organizations, yeah, with more than, I don't know, 20 to 80 different care homes somewhere in Germany, who went insolvent. Then definitely, as I said, everything with automotive, suppliers that are in that supply chain somewhere, and even hospitals. So this is, and that is also due to facts that are kind of like German made, maybe not only German made, but we have this lack of workforce, especially in those fields, because I think the payment is just not adequate to what they have to do, So that's one of the things. So they lack workforce, and they still have to close those institutions then. And the next thing is, as I said, the high labor costs. So that's also a real issue. And from the care aspect, we have that situation that due to inflation, labor costs and energy costs, they were raised so fast that kind of like the law and the substitution that you get from the state as a care home, they just didn't adapt accordingly. And so there was literally no other possibility. They couldn't just go on, and had to file for insolvency proceedings. So yeah, this is what we see here as far as that goes. So there's a definitely augmentation of proceedings here to be seen. Yeah.
So you said that there weren't as many as you might have imagined, that they are coming. There is a difference, but not as many as you've imagined. Why do you think those businesses and those different sectors are still surviving? What's keeping them going, and why they haven't gone insolvent?
I think because inflation went down again, we do have some security for investments, because we've secured our energy issues, even in the light of the Ukrainian war and the change from the quite cheap energy from Russia back to over to more renewable energies and so on. And I think there's more investment than we thought there would be, because as I said, the whole political situation is that there's more confidence and security that feeling for investors than we thought it would be, giving the facts of the global issues that we just discussed, but still, yeah.
And also, I mean, you're working within a context of a new restructuring process as well, aren't you, in Germany? So could you tell us about it and sort of when it was introduced and whether it's been successful, sort of what it involves?
Yeah, it was introduced like 5 years ago already, or 6 years ago, and it's a process where the managing team can stay on board. That's just very bluntly, the fact. And which, if outside other factors and mismanagement led to the insolvency, it is obvious that will help to restructure rather than to just shut down and wind up, which is the aim of the new instrument, how you want to call it, to get more of the companies, to get them to file earlier, so that there's still some money, some possibility to move around and to make decisions, rather than just, okay, there's nothing more we can do, we just have to wind up. And the second thing is that the people who have all the network and the relationships and know their company are still on board, instead of having completely an
Wiped
insolvency
out, everyone's
administrator
wiped out, yeah.
who comes to the blank paper and has no idea, basically. So and time is a high issue in all these insolvency proceedings, and that's why that pays. I mean, we already see it after those 6 years that it's really going to the right direction. We see way more restructuring than winding up. So
Well, that's really good.
that's really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially the big companies,
Yeah, as a business owner, I always like to hear about restructuring rather than
Yeah,
insolvency.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Something can be
So
done. Yeah.
that is a development into the right direction here. Yeah,
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 it sounds very
yeah.
good. So, I mean, what kind of cases have you been working on over the last sort of few months? Has been doing anything particularly exciting in the TRI space?
Well, what exciting. So as I said,
Your job must be exciting.
there's these care homes where we always think, it's not exciting, it's really sad, where we think, okay, all these people, we need to find
Yeah.
solutions, and there's so many. So where we just don't manage to pay the people right and find the workforce and keep them running. That is what kind of like frustrates, or gives me really it doesn't let me really sleep well. And then, as I
No, I
said,
can imagine actually that's hard, isn't it?
yeah, definitely. Yeah. And then the renewable energies, where we thought like those stations where you can charge your cars, for example, a
Yeah.
big company that went insolvent, or one that is actually really building up the solar panels on the roofs of private persons, where you would say, I mean, this is what we promote, this is where we want to head for, as from a political direction. Why on earth can they not survive with that business model? So yeah. And that's really what worries us, that those outer factors those general factors that we discussed, like the energy cost, the inflation, the labor costs, and so obviously don't even make service lines or business sectors survive that are completely within the future model of a modern industrial land, like Germany, like renewable energy.
Yeah. But
So
they're not
that's what
making it.
worries us. And we hope that that goes into a different direction pretty soon. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can see that. That is
Inflation going down, and having the security about the at least the energy costs, that you're able to plan and calculate as an entrepreneur. So that's really important. Yeah.
no, absolutely. So what do you foresee for the next 12 months if you get out your crystal ball and have a look ahead?
My crystal ball, yeah, I see that we will have some more of those startups that just don't get their financing rounds clear, you know, in the insolvency and restructuring, yeah, business. But I also foresee that, as we said, the new instrument will kind of like kick in, you know, and help restructure. And I see in a lot of business fields that companies, you know, they just merge. So we kind of like we see a, how would you say that, a concentration in the market, yeah, in a lot of business fields. That's what we that's what I think is my crystal glass for the next 12 months.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Stephanie, that's been really, really helpful and interesting. If anybody wants to talk to you about any of this or get in touch, where's the best place to contact you?
Oh, it's either just the email, Stephanie Bschorr at Nexia DE. So that is probably the easiest way, or on LinkedIn. Everybody can find me there and contact me there.
Excellent.
I'm
Well,
happy.
thank you very much for today. That's been really helpful. I'm sure everybody's found that really interesting. So you take care. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. All the best for you too. And that has been really fun.